In the year 2004, Jyoti Saikia bought this house from Eugene Michel, who had gone back to Paris a few years ago, and this house was in a very dilapidated condition. By the year 2007, when she had a reasonable amount of funds to start the restoration work, she worked with INTACH, specifically with Ajit, because we were very inspired by the work that he has been doing in Pondicherry. And in 2007, the restoration work of Gratitude began. We talked to Jyoti about why she took on such an ambitious project, and this is what she had to say.
Pondicherry has a really unique cultural heritage. The mix of French colonial with Tamil is quite unusual, and this uniqueness needs to be preserved to keep Pondicherry special, to make it unique. What we discovered as we restored this house were really many interesting aspects. The first, just architecturally speaking, when a group of people leave their country to live somewhere else, they bring with them their own culture, their way of living, and their houses express that. But they're using local artisans. And local artisans slip in their own individuality into the structure and into the construction. And you will see here mixes of Tamil and French colonial. But they both blend together so well and so harmoniously, and that is what makes it unique. It's not entirely French, just transported from some part of France and plonked here. It has that blend, that uniqueness that the Tamils brought to this architecture. We found that very interesting and wanted to preserve that as we started the restoration. But I would say the core reason was mother's guidance and the aspiration to create beauty, because where she walks in beauty, and that really was our guiding force. We lived here while the restoration was going on, so we experienced every little bit. We saw things that were not working. We made changes along the way. The most important factor for us was, how do we create something that is so harmonious that it will look like it's always been here? And I think that is what we have seen happen here at Gratitude. Beauty is the sum of its parts. It is not one element that supersedes, it's not one element that overwhelms. And this is far more difficult to achieve than you would think, because there is a tendency to look at certain aspects and want to highlight it. So in the end, restraint while working on a project like this is as important as making something beautiful. I believe that there is a unique ambience, atmosphere, and that comes out of our constant aspiration to bring in that element of divinity in beauty that is not only a physical structure, but the way we live, what we do or what we don't do. And in the end, that is what gratitude is. It's a beautiful environment, a beautiful ambience where you can retreat into contemplation, you can spend time thinking, but also reflecting.
When we started with the restoration of Gratitude, the first work that we had to do was to scrape every surface, wall surface, to see what was underneath, because there were many layers that had been applied in successive years, and it took us nearly 7 months to just scrape the surfaces. And then we had to remove all unnecessary bits and pieces which had come up over the years. Again, it was interesting to see what was below that surface. Through the monsoon, we observed where the leakages were happening from, and then we had to cut away a cross section of the terrace to understand the repairs that it would require. Existing doors and windows were blowtorched just to burn away the top surface of several years of paint, and it revealed a beautiful solid pieces of wood underneath that. Most of the doors and windows were thus remodeled. The windows posed a challenge as we had to keep the mosquitoes out, allow the light to come in, provide adequate amount of ventilation, and yet keep the cooling inside. The thickness of the walls gave us the scope to create very innovative windows which could actually provide us with all of that. The next few visuals will quickly take you through the entire process that we went through over a 3-year period. There are many interesting features: the Madras terrace roof, the recreation of the Madras terrace roof, the entire wiring and pipelines which had to be redone so that we could have flawless electrical and water supply in every room. The choice and selection of different colors for the stucco finishes in different parts of the house, and so on and so forth.